What is going on, my family? Your boy Demetrius is back with another classic Tekken 8 video. Here we are going to talk about a tier list that was created by a player that was a part of the Tekken 8 Twitter community group. And basically when I saw this tier list, this is one of those tier lists that's kind of interesting, funny, but at the same time, you know, when it comes to certain tier lists, I like to look at the tier list and then I like to be like, you know what, where would I put certain characters when it comes to these tier lists? Now when it comes to this particular tier list, this tier list is all about downplaying. Which players downplay their characters the most, and he has the characters from top to bottom when it comes to downplaying. Now here's the thing. Now the order that he has it in when it comes to these tier lists, when it comes to about 75% of it, I do agree, but I still think they're still characters that can be placed in, you know, other categories when it comes to this tier list. So that's what we're going to do in this video here. We're going to take the character downplaying tier list, and then I'm going to discuss what's going on, discuss where this person had these characters placed, and then I'm just going to come back and just going to put the characters where I feel like that they should go, because like I said, when it comes to character downplaying, that's one of the most serious things when it comes to Tekken 8 right now. And I've gone on record by saying the downplaying does kind of hinder and hurt the game to a certain extent. But in this particular situation right here, we're just going to take a look at where this player has characters as far as downplaying. And then we're going to discuss it. And like I said, I'm going to move some characters around where I feel like they should rightfully go. And I have to remind y'all, this is tier lists. If y'all one of those people that get all offended by a fucking tier list, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with y'all. Y'all need to go out and take y'all Prozac or something, because when it comes to these tier lists, motherfuckers shouldn't be listening to these damn things anyway. It's just all for fun and entertainment. Y'all feel what I'm saying? But before we get into it, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to your boy for the hottest Tekken 8 action on the internet, period. We're gonna get into this shit right now. The character downplaying tier list. Let's get into this shit. Alright, so here is the Tekken 8 character downplaying list that was created by the player in the Tekken 8 Twitter community group. Now, before we get started, when it comes to the discussion, like I always do, I have to let y'all know, Devil Jin is excluded from this discussion. We do not talk about Devil Jin on this channel when it comes to these type of discussions. When it comes to tier list or whatever, Devil Jin is excluded and he can go fuck himself. So now we can start with the tier list, and we're going to start from top to bottom. And like I said, I'm going to explain how this person has the characters placed in this tier list. And then I'm just going to move a couple of characters around on how I see fit when it comes to this particular tier list, when it comes to players downplaying their characters. So first, here's the name of the tiers. He's got Miserable, Delusional, Pro Gaslighter, Greedy Motherfuckers, They Don't Give a Fuck, A Bit Greedy, and then Fuck You Again. I really don't understand what that means, but let's get started. So we're going to start with the top where it says Miserable and Delusional when it comes to character downplaying. So basically, here's how he has it. He has Lee Chao Lam first, Jin Kazama, Brian Fury, Alyssa, Lars, Xiao Yu, King, Leo, and then you got 4 others at the bottom of that list. So when it comes to Miserable and Delusional, I'm guessing what this player is basically saying is that these are the characters that people downplay the most. And like I said, 75% he is right. When it comes to the placings, I would actually move a couple of characters around in this top list right here. Despite the fact that he has Lee Chao Lam number 1, and Lee Chao Lam's player base is a whole bunch of goddamn crybabies, I don't have Lee Chao Lam as number 1 when it comes to character downplay. I honestly don't. Yes, Lee players, they downplay him, but Lee Chao Lam is not number 1. I would actually put Lee Chao Lam behind Lars. Lars players, they downplay like a motherfucker, and then when Lars got nerfed, Lars players were just on a fucking crying spree. They just could not believe it, you know what I'm saying? Lars players were ready to burn they fucking Tekken 8 disc because he got nerfed. So I would put Lee Chao Lam behind Lars, and I would have to put Brian Fury number 1. I feel like Brian players are the biggest down players when it comes to this fucking character, and we already know it's true. Brian players, all they do is, oh, it's so difficult to pull this off. It's so difficult to pull that off. Shut up. How difficult is it to knock somebody down and then just do a fucking taunt and get a free hit and free combo all the fucking time? How difficult is it to get off with like a 4-4-2 or to get off with a snake edge, combo your opponent all the way to the fucking wall where he gets almost, what, 90% damage off a fucking wall combo? How difficult is that to do? let's just keep it all the way real. Brian players are the biggest down players when it comes to the character. They are absolutely number one. I will put Brian Fury number one just because of that. And of course, Jin Kazama, put him number two. Jin players also down players. Jin players downplay so much, they don't even know what they be downplaying. They just be talking. Like, you'll say something about Jin, they'll just be like, no, not really. That's not really how it works. And like, did you even know what I'm talking about? A lot of these Jin players don't even know what you be talking about. They just downplay just to downplay it. So yeah, Brian Fury would be number one. Jin would be number two. Alyssa, I don't think Alyssa is a downplaying character. Alyssa's player base, they do not downplay. Alyssa's player base, man, the Alyssa players, they are just horny. They just some horny players that, you know, that broke up with their girlfriends and they still trying to chase after their ex-girlfriends and shit like that. You know, I just kind of feel like Alyssa players, they're just horny. Y'all feel what I'm saying? They horny players and they don't downplay at all. They just horny over the character. You say something about Alyssa, they don't have a problem with what you say about her. They just be on this fucking sick infatuation with her. So I kind of feel like that's a little bit different when it comes to downplaying and obsessed with the character. Alyssa players are just more obsessed with her. You feel what I'm saying? You know, that's why I use the term cocoa butter. Y'all got to figure that out when it comes to that character. But Alyssa is not a downplayed character at all. I would have to put her in the they don't give a fuck tier, to be quite honest with you. Because Alyssa players, they care about other shit when it comes to this character. They care about that cocoa butter. That's what they care about. Like I said, Lars, I would put Lars behind Jin. Lars players, they downplay like crazy. Ling Xiaoyu does not get downplayed at all. I would put Ling Xiaoyu in the they don't give a fuck category. Ling Xiaoyu players, they do not downplay at all. King players, I don't see the downplay either. I would have to put King in the gaslighting tier. You know, King is kind of like that gaslighting character, you know what I'm saying? He is a character that we see in the pro scene, which we're going to get to in a minute. You know, Leo, fuck Leo. Asuka, I don't see too much downplaying there. I would put Asuka in the greedy category. You feel what I'm saying? Asuka players can be a little bit greedy. You know, what she has now, a lot of Asuka players are saying they want more. Yeah, I would put Asuka in the greedy category, but she's not a downplayed character at all. Steve Fox, not a downplayed character, even though Steve Fox is the most toxic character in the game. He has actually passed up Jun in that category. Steve Fox is not a downplayed character. Steve players know how toxic he is. They know how fucked up he is. They truthful when it comes to Steve Fox, so there's no downplaying there. I honestly don't know where to put Steve Fox at. Steve players don't downplay him. They tell the full truth about him, so I don't know. I would have to say pro gaslight, put Steve in that category, because there's no downplaying there. Steve players are absolutely truthful about the character. They know he's fucked up. Lydia, don't nobody care about this character. Nobody speaks of her, so there's no downplaying there. So I would have to put Lydia in the fuck you again category, because nobody says shit about her. Nobody cares. Jun, no, there's not a lot of downplaying here. Jun players are pretty much silent, and a lot of them are not even Jun mains. A lot of them are probably some type of other Mishima mains that use Jun, so I don't think she's a downplayed character at all. I don't know where to put her exactly. I guess I will put her in the they don't give a fuck category. Jun is not a downplayed character at all. All right, so we're going to go to the next list, pro gaslighters. So these characters that this person has: Claudio, Zafina, Anna, Clive, Leroy, Raina, Warong, Paul, Fang. So we're going to start with Claudio. He has Claudio number one in this list. I definitely agree with, you know, Claudio as a character. This character pretty much dominates the pro scene, and then every time this character does something crazy, we see it, it gets covered up. So he gets downplayed in that manner. Every time he does something fucked up, it just gets covered up and the development team does nothing about it. So yeah, a lot of pro gaslighting and a lot of downplaying when it comes to Claudio. It's a shame, but yeah, that's what's going on with that character. Zafina, I don't know. Zafina is such a wild card when it comes to Tekken 8, man. I just don't know about this character anymore. Like, we're just going to skip over her because I honestly don't know. Anna, okay, they got Anna third right here. I kind of understand that, especially after what happened at CEO. You know, Anna, yeah, gaslighting character. Is she downplayed? A little bit. She is downplayed a little bit, but you know, her placing is pretty cool. But I would kind of say if it was up to me, I would put her down to the greedy category. You know, she's downplayed, but not like that. I would put her down to the greedy category. Anna's fan base, they don't really complain about much. You know, they have her back in the game and they satisfied. So, you know, I don't see the downplay. I don't see a massive downplay when it comes to Anna. So I would put her down. I would put her in the greedy category. You know, Anna fans can be pretty greedy. Nothing really wrong with that. You know, greed, ain't nothing wrong with greed in these games. But as far as downplaying, I don't think Anna's downplayed. I really don't. Clive, fuck Clive. Let's move on. Leroy, I honestly don't know why Leroy is in this category. There's no downplaying because no one talks about him. Leroy, very small player base. You know, I'm a part of that very small Leroy player base. There's no downplaying at all. We don't even say nothing about the character. So I would put Leroy in the they don't give a fuck category. You know, I don't even know why Leroy was that high. Raina, serious downplaying going on with this character. If it was up to me, this character would go up into the miserable, delusional category. Serious downplaying when it comes to this character. Absolutely ridiculous downplaying when it comes to Raina. The development team has already made it clear that they're not going to change this character because of lore reasons. So, but when it comes to downplaying, yeah, Raina gets downplayed all the fucking time. I hear it all the time. Hey, they need to give Raina this. They need to give Raina that. Raina has every fucking thing. You feel what I'm saying? Every fucking thing. She has it all. She really does. Warong, downplaying. Not really sure about downplaying, but there is a lot of gaslighting when it comes to this character. No, a lot of people say that he's balanced this and that and all. No, he's not. This character is bugged. Warong has a couple of bugs, and you know, I think that's where the gaslighter part comes in. He isn't downplayed, but there's a lot of gaslighting going on with this character. And a lot of people, when it comes to Warong, they be lying, like for real. No, Warong isn't bugged. Yeah, he is. He's bugged. Paul Phoenix, we already know the deal with Paul. Season 2 first started, he had that fucking bug. They tried to downplay that. You know, like I said, straight gaslighting character. And every single time, every Tekken game, this happens with Paul. The gaslighting never stops with this character. And it's just more of the same. You feel what I'm saying? So this is what we expect from Paul Phoenix. A lame ass character. Straight gaslighting character. Fang, I would put Fang down to the they don't give a fuck category. Fang is cool. Fang is pretty much a shadow of himself, like nowhere near as prolific as he was in Tekken 7. There's no downplaying at all. People don't even talk about Fang in that type of manner. So I would put Fang in the they don't give a fuck category. Fang is cool. All right, so when it comes to the next list, when it says greedy motherfuckers, so we got Kazuya, Azuzina, Jack, Nina, Panda, Eddie, Heihachi, Lily, Kuma, and Law. So we're gonna start with Kazuya, and I'm gonna say right now, there is no downplaying when it comes to Kazuya players. There's no greed either. So I would actually put Kazuya down by the, you know, they don't give a fuck, you know, tier list. You feel what I'm saying? You know, Kazuya players are pretty much straightforward and humble. There's no downplaying there. So I would put Kazuya players down. Y'all know what I'm saying? Azuzina, who cares? Jack, there's no downplaying with Jack either. There's not really no greed either. Now, I kind of understand why he puts Jack in that position, because when Jack had that bug at the beginning of season 2, yeah, we did kind of see a lot of Jack players get a little greedy and downplay, but all in all, overall, Jack player base is not greedy. They don't downplay. It's just that bug kind of, you know, made people a little bit, you know, animated. But Jack is another character that I will move down to the they don't give a fuck category. Nina Williams, I don't really know. We'll keep Nina Williams where she is. Panda will go down to fuck you again. Heihachi will go down to fuck you again. Kuma will go down to fuck you again. Eddie, I would also move Eddie a step down. Like Eddie players, we don't downplay. There isn't any greed either, because if an Eddie player says something, an Eddie player is gonna get canceled every time he says something. So we don't say shit.
and we don't downplay. We ask for a couple of things, but there's no downplaying when it comes to Eddie. So I will put Eddie down to the they don't give a fuck category. Then I would go Law. Actually, Law, I would actually move him up as a gaslighter character. There is a lot of gaslighting when it comes to Law. The whole DDS controversy and shit like that, I see that as gaslighting in my opinion. You feel what I'm saying? The whole nerf buff downplaying when it comes to Law, yeah. So I would move Law up a step, put him in the gaslighting tier. And then I would go to the bottom. Like I said, there was a couple of characters that I would put in the bottom, you know, from previous tiers. But the characters that are already there, you got Victor, you got Shaheen, Yoshi Mitsu, Raven, and we got Dragunov. So we're going to start with Victor. You know, pretty much I do agree. Victor's player base is actually dwindling. So there's really no downplaying to be had when his player base is constantly disappearing. Y'all feel what I'm saying? Shaheen, nobody gives a fuck. I will put him in fuck you again. You feel what I'm saying? Fuck Shaheen. Yoshi Mitsu, I would keep where he is. And I will say something about Yoshi Mitsu. There's no downplaying when it comes to Yoshi Mitsu or nothing like that. But this character is making people think that they're better than they actually are. We seen it at CEO where Treasy was acting like he was the shit, and then he got his ass kicked by K-Wiz because he showed laziness. And that's exactly what Yoshimitsu players are. They're fucking lazy and they don't laugh. And Trizzy kind of shown that in the fucking CEO. So Yoshimitsu, that's the problem that character brings. That character brings a lot of laziness, and a lot of people think that they're better than they actually are because of that character. Real problem. But as far as downplaying and all that shit, yeah, Yoshimitsu, he can stay where he's at. Raven can go down to fuck you again. Fuck that character. Dragunov, another character that I personally feel like the player base is kind of dwindling. You feel what I'm saying? So you can keep Dragunov where he is. People done moved on from Dragunov. They done found more broken characters to play with. So there's no one downplaying the character because nobody hardly uses him anymore. You feel what I'm saying? So Dragunov can stay where he is. So that is my take when it comes to this Tekken 8 character downplaying list. Like I said, you know, I went over the list and basically put, you know, characters where I thought that they should go, where they should be match that perfectly when it comes to players downplaying the characters. Y'all feel what I'm saying? And like I said, this is all just fun. This is all just, you know, amusement. And if you get offended by something like this, y'all need some fucking help. Also, too, when it came to that fuck you again list that he made at the bottom, I honestly don't know what he meant by that. I'm just assuming that it's something really, really bad. Just by the way that it sounds, I'm just thinking that it's something that it's really, really bad. And that's why I put a few characters down there, because let's just keep it all the way real. A character like Heihachi or whoever, they deserve to be down there with that list, whatever that list means. You feel what I'm saying? So like I said, I'm assuming that that's something really bad. If not, I apologize for not understanding what that really meant correctly. It just sounded ferocious. Y'all feel what I'm saying? But let me know what y'all think in the comment section below about the Tekken 8 character downplaying tier list. You know, and what would y'all do? Like, where would y'all put characters when it comes to being downplayed? Which character do you think is downplayed the most, downplayed the least, or whatever? Put y'all thoughts and y'all feelings in the comment section below. We could definitely get a conversation started. I know we could get a conversation started because this is an interesting topic, because this is what people talk about all the time. People talk about downplaying all the time. So I know y'all motherfuckers got something to say. I know y'all do. So make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe to your boy for the hottest Tekken 8 action on the internet, period. As I keep on saying, ain't nobody doing it like I'm doing it when it comes to this Tekken shit, and that is facts. My name is Demetrius. I will get back at you in the next video. God bless. Stay safe. I am out. Peace.